And I think that Scream 6 is miles better than Scream 5. They found their footing. I think the characters were well written in this one a bit more because they had a chance to breathe on their own without the legacy characters. Hey everyone, welcome back to Candid Cinema. I'm Amanda, otherwise known as AMX NDA Reviews on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. Today I will be reviewing Scream 6. And I had the privilege of watching this last Friday. Shout out to Paramount for giving me the opportunity to watch this and review this ahead of the release date for everyone. I really appreciate it. As you can see, Ghostface is present. My cousin actually painted this and she's incredible. So I have it on display. Scream is one of my, if not my favorite horror franchise. Clearly, I have a Stab hoodie right here. I absolutely love this franchise beginning to end, and that's why I was a bit disappointed with Scream 5, as you guys saw in my review of it last year. I went into Scream 6 with very high expectations, and I'll tell you why. You have a brand new cast that you're kind of getting to know. 5 felt like a transitional film to have, like, you know, the legacy characters interact with this new cast, these new characters. And the reason why I had such high expectations is because we were taking these characters out of Woodsboro. And New York City is vast. There are thousands and thousands of people in New York City, and it would be almost impossible for Ghostface to be found, and let alone that, even track these characters. So it's just really interesting based on the fact that they took them out of Woodsboro, and that's why I had such high expectations, because there's so many things that you can do in regards to like following people and then add the technology to that. It was all about the possibilities of what they could do outside of Woodsboro, and that's why I really enjoyed Scream 6. I really liked it. They still made certain references to previous films. They have to. It is a part of the franchise. It's a part of like making references to other horror films as well. But now the Scream franchise is so much bigger than when it started, obviously, with the first one, that you don't have to have those references to other horror films. And this time, Scream 6 is just referencing other Scream films, and that's why it works incredibly well. And I think that Scream 6 is miles better than Scream 5. They found their footing. I think the characters were well written in this one a bit more because they had a chance to breathe on their own without the legacy characters. And I think that's why it worked. They were standing by themselves and not on the shoulders of those who came before them. And I really liked that. The opening for Scream 6 is possibly my favorite one since the first one. I know it's saying a lot, but the reason why I like this one is because it really made fun of dating culture in today's generation. It made fun of film lovers as well, which I was howling. And I just really appreciated the dialogue in this film. I think there were a lot of one-liners that really stood out, that landed. The chemistry between characters and the banter between them also landed. It worked really well. There's a natural chemistry between them now because they've gotten to know each other a bit more. And I think that the horror elements, they were pretty graphic. It's pretty graphic stuff. The kills were brutal. It kind of went back to what the first one did, where there are really brutal kills, but it's balanced by humor. And I think that Scream 6 has the perfect balance of both. You have these kills that are so inventive, and I think that's what's so different about 6 is that you're not expecting any of these kills or any of these attacks to happen the way that they do because they're just so different. And that's what makes a horror film so fun to watch, so entertaining to watch. Yes, the genre has similar tropes. They have similar reveals. Sometimes it can be predictable, 100%, but it's all about the journey in Scream 6. It's how everything is set up in the first 2 acts. And I really appreciated what they did with this. I'm not going to spoil it. It's a spoiler-free review, but heading into the third act, they set up some really crazy things, even for Scream 7. They set up a lot of great things here. And I really enjoyed the fact that I was laughing more so than being scared. And I think that a lot of people are going to disagree with that, but the whole joy of watching a horror film is to get scared, but also laugh at the fact that you just got that scared for absolutely no reason. And that's the joy of it. Sure, there are some obscure ideas and concepts that do stick, but it's almost like the ending can never be as good as the journey. And that's okay. But majority of horror films that take those big swings, they don't really know how to end their film, unfortunately, which it leaves you underwhelmed and kind of bittersweet. You feel like you enjoyed what you watched, but at the same time, the ending didn't bring it all together. That's kind of how I feel about Scream 6. And as much as I did love it, compared to me absolutely disliking Scream 5 to the nth degree, I think that Scream 6 was a return to what made Scream really, really fantastic in the first place. However, there are only so many angles that you can take with a reveal like that. And I think it became a bit too campy in the third act for that particular reveal. And it was underwhelming when they started explaining what had happened and all of this, the typical stuff. Other people have said that they really enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong, that the third act was really good and all of that. And that's fine. I think it did overstay its welcome just a little bit. And the third act was dragging because they had to kind of blindside the audience to make that finale big and better and, better than what they did in Scream 5. And that's fine. I loved everything up until the reveal, and that's so sad to say because the reveal is supposed to be the best part about the Scream film, but it's more so the journey in this one that I can really say. And you have the character development for everybody. I think Melissa Barrera really stepped up to the plate. I did not miss Sydney in this movie. I love and I respect Neve Campbell so much. She is my final girl forever and ever and ever. However, for Melissa Barrera to come into her own as Samantha Carpenter, Sydney Prescott cannot be present. I think that's what really held her back in the first one because she had to fill those shoes with Sydney there. And realistically, no offense to Melissa Barrera, but everyone went to go see Sydney, everyone went to go see Gail, and everyone went to go see Dewey in Scream 5 because their faves have returned and they're legacy characters. And if these new characters are good enough, cool, it's stuck. But everyone's watching the legacy characters. And I genuinely love it. I love everything about it. She's gotten better. And I think that where they are leading Samantha, I'm really excited to see what happens in Scream 7. I think that this was a stepping stone to a wonderful possibility that I think would make the Scream franchise amazing, considering what her storyline is in this film. And I think it'd be very different if they went a certain route, which I'm not going to say. Again, I am not spoiling this film. I was just very happy with Samantha's storyline in this. And obviously, Jenna Ortega is absolutely fantastic as Tara. And I think that their sisterly bond grew a bit more in this one. They understood each other a bit more in this one. And I like their chemistry. I really do. I think they kind of leaned on each other a bit more acting wise as scene partners. And I liked that. I think it was really strong between the two of them. And of course, the core four with the twins, with Mindy and Chad, they were also fantastic. Jasmine and Mason are the scene stealers in this movie. They're absolutely hilarious. I love the different dynamic that they do bring. With Chad, with Mason Gooding, you have someone who's very overprotective and will have their back no matter what. And I love that. Where with Mindy, she's just so sure of her background of film knowledge, that's what ends up helping her and the rest of them throughout this film. So I really love the four of them. The reason why 6 is better, and I don't know how to say this without like disappointing people. The focus is not on the legacy characters. The only way you're going to bring back the legacy characters in 5 is if you're giving them something to do. So obviously you gave Dewey something to do, you gave Gale bare minimum, but you gave Sydney something to do in 5. So the focus is there. The writing focus is on them. Then in Scream 6, you don't have any legacy characters as the main cast. Sure, Gale comes in. That's fine. It's not for the entire movie. I know Sydney didn't come in for the whole film in 5, but she was in like third act majority of it, or even halfway through majority of it. That's where the focus is. So the writing just got better because they weren't involved. And no offense to them, because I love them all so very much. But if you're trying to make a new trilogy and improve the franchise and move the franchise along, you have to get rid of them. Unfortunately, you do. And that's why this one's so much stronger, because you're giving more screen time to the core 4. I loved Hayden Panettiere in Scream 4. I love Kirby, so it was fantastic seeing her back. I think everyone had solid chemistry. I really liked Scream 6. So I'm giving Scream 6 a 4 out of 5 stars. I'm so happy that I can say this because I love this franchise more than anything. And I'm just going to give you guys a quick ranking of how I would rank the Scream franchise. So obviously in first spot, it's going to be Scream 1, and then Scream 2, and then Scream 6, and then Scream 4, and then Scream 3, and then Scream 5. That is how I would rank the Scream franchise. Let me know in the comments below how you guys would rank the films in this franchise. I love Scream. I really do. So Scream 6 comes out this Friday, and I'm just stoked for everyone to watch it. Please try to avoid spoilers as much as you can, because this movie is really fun to watch through and through. If you guys want to help support the channel and help me grow this channel with this wonderful community, you can check out ways to support the channel down below in the bio. And if you guys enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. You can always follow me over at AMX NDA Reviews on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. I'll catch you guys next time. Keep watching movies.